This is a recap for Thursday, November 4th. In class today, we worked on CAMI week 8 together. So that is right here, week 8 assignment. It's the only assignment for the week, so you need to put some time into it. It's going to be worth about 30 points. So we went to page 3 and we talked about some questions, for example, or some statements. The product or quotient of two real numbers with the same sign is either positive or negative, and it is positive. So same signs, let me just write in here in red. This is actually a positive 15 and a positive 6. We multiply those together, we get a positive answer. This is a negative, my highlighter here. This is a negative 3 and a negative 6. So they have the same sign. They're both negative. So the answer will be positive. These two, even when we're division, we have negative 24 divided by negative 3. That answer is going to be positive. And I'm going to erase this part and redo it. So I'll explain that in just a moment. You're trying to keep up with class. If you happen to be on quarantine or you're just absent today and you're trying to catch up, good job watching this video. So the product quotient of two real numbers with different signs is negative. So this is a positive 6, that's a negative 5. So the answer is going to be negative. Negative 4 divided by a positive 2. There's really a plus in there that we don't see. They have different signs, and the answer is going to be negative. Positive 4 times a negative 2 has a negative answer. So the answer will always be negative. So just a little talk about symbols. So if I just do this and I say, what is that? Go ahead and say it out loud if you're watching this. You probably said negative 6. If I say this, go ahead and say that. You probably said 10 minus 6. So what happened to the negative? So if this is negative 6 and this is 10 minus 6, it gets pretty confusing. So let me highlight here. So this is positive. This is positive. If we put that little symbol right up here, it's indicating a negative 6, which is opposite of 6. If we put it right here, it could be subtraction, but we didn't have anything to subtract from. So symbols are interchangeable. The negative and the subtract both look like that. One way around it that I try to do is put a little higher negative, so that doesn't usually mean subtraction. So if we're talking about the sign of the number. So sign of the number means which side of 0. Is it a positive 8 or is it a negative 8? So the number line can help us because we don't really think of subtraction there. We don't think subtract 8 right there. We really do think negative 8. So then to add to the confusion, we don't have to put a plus here. So we don't have to put a plus. It's just, plus is just, with no symbol at all, it's just what it means. It's positive. All right, the product of any real number and 0 is 0. There's some examples. The quotient of any real number and 0 is 0. So that means that 0 divided by anything is 0. We had a discussion in class. How about the other? Can we do this? Can we do 15 divided by 0? And the answer is no, it is undefined. And if we think of it this way, 15 divided by 0, if we had an answer here, we'd have to, because multiplication and division are reciprocal, then we'd have to be able to multiply this times the 0 and get 15. And there's nothing you can multiply by 0 to get 15 because everything times 0 is 0. And then we went down and we did negative, or 3 times negative 4 times 2. And I'm going to go like that. And that's negative 24. 3 times negative 4 times negative 2 is 24. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, that's negative, or actually, yeah, negative 16. And then we asked the question, how can you tell the sign of a product before you multiply? So if you're taking notes right now, trying to catch up, write an answer to that. So stop the video right here, write your answer. How can we tell? For example, if we have -2 times 3 times -6 times 10 times -3. How do we know if that's positive or negative before we even multiply, or can we know that? So go ahead and stop the video and write the answer to that. Okay, so you came back, and this is what we came up with third period. If the signs are both negative, it will be positive, and if the signs are different, they'll be negative. This works with two numbers at a time. Multiply two numbers at a time and rewrite the problem. So what I could do here is this is -6, and then just write it times -6 times 10 times -3. And then -6 times -6 is positive 36 times 10 times -3. 36 times 10 is 360 times -3. And now I know I have a negative. And the question was, can we predict this without computing? So in other words, can I tell on this one, -5 times 10 times -3 times -3, if it's going to be positive or negative before I do any multiplication? And the answer was yes, because we can look at pairs of negatives. That goes back to positive, but this goes back to negative. So think of odds and evens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, odd. So odds have pairs. Evens do not. So if there's an even number of negatives, it's going to go back to negative. If they're all paired up and even, then it goes back to positive. So it toggles like a light switch from negative to positive to negative to positive, depending on how many negatives you have in the multiplication. So we know this one is -3 times -2 has 3 times -7 has 3, so that means it's going to be negative. This has 2, that's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 negatives goes to positive. And then we went down here, and if you want to try the first 6 problems on page 7, that's what I'm about to show you. So if you want to stop the video right now and try the first 6 problems, take a few minutes and go do that. It might take you about 10 or 15 minutes. All right, so hopefully you're back, and here is the answer key for, I guess, the first 4. So I'll do 5 and 6 here with you. And also the answers, if you scroll down to 8, page 8, there they are. But let's do 7 times 20 is 140. A negative times a negative goes back, that's even. There's 2 of them. That's even. That means that it's going to be positive, so positive 140. This is a -4 times -8. So that's going to go back to positive, so that's 32 times 3/4. And I call this pre-simplifying. I notice, well, first of all, I'm going to put that over a 1 because this needs to multiply by a fraction. You need a numerator and a denominator. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So this answer was 24. And if you want to check that, you can go to number 6 down here and see that 24. And so you can keep working and checking answers. And just a reminder that this assignment you can do on paper and take a picture of it and upload those pictures. And we did applicers, which you can't really do. And then one more thing that I will show you. We did a week 8 resource dividing, decimals dividing fractions. So this is not an assignment, but it's what we did in class. So if you want to go here and do dividing fractions, it's just 3 cards, and I'd be happy to check that. Just let me know when you're done with it, and I can check your answers. And that is a recap for Thursday, November 4th.